blustery. So it's late October. It's October 20th today. The departure day is coming up, and we almost had a real crisis. And that is because Andy of Where's Andy fame, who's been planning on coming on this trip since it began a year ago, so since we began planning it a year ago, called me about a week ago and bailed on me. And the idea of going alone was not something I was really cherishing, especially the first half between here and Bermuda. There's shipping, there's the Gulf Stream. If you get wind against the Gulf Stream, it gets very frothy. But I was able to find somebody. I called a friend in New Hampshire, a sailor, and he knew somebody. And it's very lucky because to find somebody with the desire to go last minute, time off to go, and all those things was really lucky. His name is Jeff, and I'll be picking him up in a few days at the airport, and we'll meet him then. So I've got some things laid out here on the table. I've got a brand new harness and a couple other harnesses. This is one of the things we wear when things get frothy. It's also, of course, a life jacket. This has a manual pull, which inflates. This one has a hydrostatic and a manual pull. So if you fall in the water and can't pull it yourself, it will do it for you. And the third jacket is manual. We also have this, which is new this year. I've got this ICOM handheld VHF, which has built into it an AIS receiver. So all ships over a certain tonnage must have an AIS transponder, and if they are near us, this represents a 12-mile circle, and if any ship comes in that circle, we get an alarm and a plot. We can also look at a target list. It'll list all the boats that are in the area. That number right there is one of the ships. It's still calculating its bearing and so on. So that's nice. We'll be able to see ships before they get to us, instead of just hoping that we are awake at the moment and see them coming. Of course, one of us will be awake at all times. Another safety device we have, if you're not familiar, is called an EPIRB, which stands for Emergency Position Indicating Radio Beacon. And if you activate it with this lever up here, it sends a signal up to the satellites and down to a rescue coordinating station. And if you're within, I think, 300 miles of the coast, the Coast Guard sends a helicopter. If you're further offshore, they divert a ship that will pick you up and carry on to wherever it's going, and it's up to you to get home from that place. So these devices have really been a godsend, because before these, rescue times were averaging a week or so. That's a week in a life raft, which is no party, I'm sure. There's our new life raft, by the way, speaking of. Anyway, it's reduced those rescue times down to about 24 hours, so not bad. The life raft has a few little tricks you want to know before you set off, which is the first thing you do if you have to use it is tie it to the boat. First thing. Then you pop it and open it, because you can just imagine popping it. It's a big giant balloon, basically, so if it's windy, it's just going to cartwheel off into the distance and be gone. So first thing you do is tie it to the boat and then activate it. And inside the opening, you know, the companionway, as it were, is a knife, just for the reason of cutting that line should the boat be sinking and going down. You don't want to go down with it. The two coils of blue there are jack lines, and you attach them fore and aft on either side of the boat along the deck. And then you take your tether. So here's a tether. You would take one end and leave it on the harness and put the other end on the jack line. So you can move up and down the deck and still be attached to the boat. And there are other safety features we have, which I will talk about when Jeff's on board and we are underway. So that's all for now, but I'm just glad that I found Jeff and that the trip is still on. Muriel would have absolutely killed me if she learned that I was going alone. Oh, that's probably her right now. It is. We were just talking about you. What's going on?
Well, I just missed you and wanted to know if you can row to shore for a little bit.
Can I finish what I'm doing?
Yes, you can.
Very good. Isn't she sweet? All right, cheers for now. So our neighbor Hayes called and said, would you like a fish? All the way. Oh, that's almost as big as you. Well, of course.
I can't get this up here.
Come on. We just didn't realize it was a striper closing in on 50 pounds. This one right here. I then got to some projects, like adding a third solar panel in support of a second lithium battery. I'm going to want to take this rub strip off, and I'm going to put this chalk on instead. That'll keep the dinghy painter from straying across the solar panel wires. I tuned the rig. Well, we're going to test out the inflatable dinghy since I'm not going to bring the hard shell this time. Now I just get to do this about 1,000,000 times. That's what I'm talking about. Seal the port light. Strung a new roller furling line. And actually came to the end of the list. So it's time to go to the airport. And look who's here.
Hey, hey.
Our crew member.
Skipper.
Ahoy. You're going to be part of the channel now, you know that, right?
I'll have to put my game face on.
Yes, put your game face on. How are you?
Good morning.
Oh, shit. And that's going to be the phrase of the trip. Where's Andy? He's supposed to be here. Where the hell is Andy?
Yes, well, I envy your trip, and as I say, I wish you fair winds all the way.
Jeff and I have decided to go. He got here an hour ago. We looked at the weather. It's like, man, it's an hour. Wait a week. So we're going. So wish us luck. I'll try to post the link to the. He's got the Garmin. What's it called? InReach.
Garmin InReach.
Yeah, he's got a link to that. So I'll try to put that in the description. Is that all right?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Great.
All right. Wish us luck. See you on the other side.